Phoena's Quest, Book 1, First Spark, by Chrissy Garwood. Chapter 19. Farewell to the Dreamer. A peace that was deeper and stronger than she had ever imagined wrapped itself around Phoena. She floated in sparkling blue water, rocked by the waves. Her face was towards the sky as the sun dipped over the horizon. The grey clouds were being transformed with vivid strokes of violet and crimson. Night followed day. 1,000 twinkling stars high above in the navy blue night sky echoed the song. J'ai vraiment aimé. Time passed. The light show faded. Her ears detected a whispered conversation, but she was unable to open her eyes. The speaker drew nearer. "As you can see," Lady Analia said, "she still sleeps." "Thank you for allowing me to see for myself," Oramus said. "I've been petitioning Matron for the past 3 days, but she's shown me no mercy." "Then it is fortunate for you that she has been called away." Phoena felt a light touch to the side of her face. She knew without needing her sight that Oramus must be standing there. The heat from his hand lingered long after his fingers were snatched away. "Please do not try to wake her," Lady Analia said. "I don't think that would be possible," he said. "There is powerful magic at work here. It is all her own. We only gave her a herbal draught to help her sleep. I sang prayers and petitions over her until she settled. Her body required healing. Her spirit has taken command." "How long will she sleep?" Oramus asked. "There is no way to tell. She could sleep until tomorrow, or she might slumber for a year and a day." "It little matters either way," he sighed. "My father has been recalled. I must accompany him home." "Does your father know?" Lady Analia asked. There was a long pause. "I haven't told him about the fellowship nomination." "That was not the question I was asking, but your answer tells me everything I need to know." "You talk in riddles, Lady Analia. Tell your father that you've met me. You should not need to tell him anything else." "Lady Analia?" Oramus gasped. "But you're—" "As old as the legend, and still working for the fellowship," she laughed. "Now it is time for you to leave. What token will you offer so that she knows you plan to return?" "I didn't expect to be permitted. That fine brooch you have pinned to your chest will serve the purpose," Analia said. "Do you know what this represents?" Oramus asked. "Of course. And yet you ask?" "Whether you leave it or not is entirely your decision." A few moments later something hard pressed into the sleeper's palm. Oramus folded her fingers over the dragon brooch and kissed her hand. "Farewell, dear lady," he whispered, and then he was gone. "On va voir où j'enverrai." Phoena floated on the tide. "Lord Oramus has come and gone," Analia announced. "That was easily done," Cecily replied. "I didn't want him to think that my resistance was diminished because of his fervour." "I gave him the message for his father," Lady Analia said. Then we will see what comes of that. I distrust the rumours that are circulating. There's trouble in the outer realms. I fear that circumstances are moving too fast. Shan o shan rushed in a royal, oye valestorium. Phoena dreamt that someone pounded on the door. Please let him in, she murmured, before drifting deeper beneath the dream river. What is the meaning of this disruption? Lord Westernbrook shouted. I have to see her, Carillion cried. You should have waited for an invitation. I know Oramus got to see her before he left, so it's only fair that I receive the same favour. Fairness has nothing to do with anything. What is it to me if you're summoned early to the King's Council? Ha! So you know, Carillion muttered. It's supposed to be a secret. You've confirmed that you have influence at the court. I'm tempted to refuse to go. You cannot refuse a summons from your king. I would if I were convinced it was only a ruse to get rid of me. Humph! I'm sure I could find an easier and more permanent way of getting rid of you, her godfather remarked. Well, I'm here now, so you have to let me speak to her. You can speak all you like, but don't expect her to answer you. Speak Carillion did, and eloquently, but her mind could not hang on to his words. Finally he seized her hand and slipped an icy object onto her wrist. I dare not give you magical treasures, dear lady, so I am leaving you something of more sentimental value. This bangle looks plain, but when it is under the light of the moon, it transforms into a thing of great beauty. Tradition has it that this trinket was formed from a fallen star at the beginning of time. Vashahoya king of Eflaeth, Astel Sheil Koadiate. Dark followed the light, an endless cycle without pause. It was dark again. The third one is here. This time it was the footman who made the announcement. Show Viscount Barapa in, Cecily said. You might as well stay, Westy. We could benefit from your assistance, should he decide to carry her away. He wouldn't dare, Lord Westernbrook shouted. Phoena heard furniture shoved across the room as her godfather leapt to his feet. He's heard your warning, Enalia laughed, so sit down and behave yourself. Young man, what do you have to say for yourself? Lord Westernbrook, matron, lady, Barapa began, please excuse my intrusion. I require your advice. So you're not here to steal away my goddaughter? Most certainly not, Barapa cried. Carillion and Oramus would be after me in an instant. There would be nowhere in the world that I could hide her. I wouldn't be so certain of that, Enalia said softly, but nobody seemed to hear her. What is your problem? Cecily asked. My father is coming, Barapa said. That's not unexpected, Cecily replied. He has plans to put my new talents to better use. I'm offered a commission in the militia. If my father has his way, I'll be the captain of an elite force and sent off to fight in the colonies by the end of the month. You don't wish to fight? Lord Westernbrook asked. It's not the fighting that I have a problem with. It's whether my leaving will be viewed by the fellowship as a betrayal. I'm only recently nominated, and now my allegiance is being called away. The fellowship will not see this as a betrayal, Cecily assured him. But will her ladyship? The young nobleman cried. Ah, Analia said, here is the truth of the matter. What does your heart tell you? Pardon, lady, but we haven't been introduced. Lady Analia, from the Thristian Mountains at your service, Viscount Barapa. I've known your family since before your ancestor received his title. Have you been with the fellowship that long, Lady Analia? I was there in the beginning. I did not expect that I would still be here, but I am pleased with your nomination. It does my heart good to see that there is still honour among my people. Thank you, lady. Do you have anything to say to our sleeper? There is nothing to say that cannot wait until she is awake to hear it. At last, a youth with some common sense, muttered Lord Westonbrook. I can see that you've made up your mind to accept the military commission, so take your leave. Not so fast in dismissing the poor boy, Cecily said. He still has to present her with his gift. Lord Oramus left her his dragon brooch, Analia added, and Lord Carillion gave her a bangle made from a fallen star. What does Viscount Barapa offer as a token of his allegiance? It is nothing of such value as the other noblemen's gifts, Barapa said. Just something that I made with my hands from the fishing tackle the three of us were using that day. You included the others in your gift? Cecily asked. How interesting. It looks like a fine neck chain with a medallion attached. He's made something to help her find her way home, Analia replied. Vain youth but frail, and Threa's Thremon. It was warm here in the dream. The rhythm between wakefulness and sleeping had changed. I don't think it will be long before she awakens, Cecily said. Her movements had become more restless in the past hour. I have already begun packing, Analia replied. Have you given any thought to her wardrobe? She cannot leave here in that nightdress. I've dispatched Westy to the capital with an order. I expect him to return with the bare necessities before dinner, Cecily said. The rest of her new clothes will be waiting for us when we arrive at Sumnerscote. The decision is made? Analia asked. Indeed. Westy is convinced that having her reside within a day's journey of the King's citadel is best. He intends to introduce her to general society within the capital. He hopes that it will be a year or two before he must deliver her to the King as the new champion. Westy has recruited other members of the fellowship to begin her training. In the meantime, Cecily said, arrangements are in place for her to attend the nearby ladies' college as a day student. If she is well enough, she starts with the new semester. That only gives us 4 weeks to get her ready. Koshe Peel and shalleth nas away. Phoena dreamed that she stood at the top of a mighty waterfall. The spray rose high into the air. and soaked her to the skin. Phoena! The unknown voice resonated both inside her head and outside in the cool air. It was the voice from her childhood dreams. Who calls me? I have many names. Vatsha, Kang, Day. I am who I am. I have called you and watched over you. You have petitioned me for help, and I have answered you. Thank you. Phoena, it is time for you to return to your commission. Are you ready? Will you continue to guard and guide me? The roar of the water was the only reply. Suddenly, Phoena was falling. She landed heavily and awoke on the floor beside the canopied bed in the guest bedchamber. That's one way to wake up, but I would have preferred a softer landing. Lady Analia was beside her in a moment, helping her to her feet. There is enough time to dress before dinner. Your godfather has left instructions for you to join him in his suite, should you wake in time. Your kindness is appreciated, Lady Analia. How are you feeling now, Sherma? I'm fully recovered. Phoena stretched her arms above her head. The bangle on her wrist dropped down, and she looked at it with a fond smile. Her hand flew to her throat, where the medallion nestled against her skin. She looked down at her chest in search of the third token. The brooch is under your pillow, Analia said. Cecily was worried that the pin might come undone and pierce your heart. Lady Analia went to the bed and retrieved it. She handed the jewel to Phoena. Why am I not surprised that your first thoughts are towards your 3 champions? Although how you could know about their gifts while you were sound asleep, I'm sure I don't know. Phoena smiled and wrapped her arms around herself and began to sing. Immediately the whole room seemed brighter. Any doubts and concerns that Phoena had for her uncertain future fled. Lady Analia closed the distance between them to embrace her. Sherma, you are full of surprises today. One day soon you will have to tell me your story. I can see that you are destined to steal many hearts, beyond the 3 you have already in your possession. It pleases this old woman to add my allegiance to theirs. Lady Firebird, welcome to the fellowship. And that is the end of Book 1. Dear listening reader, I hope you have enjoyed this latest chapter from the first book in the Phoena's Quest trilogy. This is a beta copy, and the text may change between now and the official publication date. If you have any questions or suggestions that would make this chapter easier to read, please let me know. In return for your help, I will include your name in the acknowledgements as part of the reader team. Chrissy.